Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am so excited to share the fantastic Ringed with Nature bundle from the brand new Stampin' Up! July-December mini catalog. Now, this bundle is one that's kind of hidden in the catalog. It doesn't get a whole lot of real estate. It's easy to miss, but oh my goodness, it's such a wow. And when you pair it with the coordinating Ringed with Love designer series paper available for free during Sale-a-bration, it just makes for fantastic projects. So I have three I'm going to share, show you how to make today, and then I have some others I'm just going to share and show you. So lots of ideas, and I'm hoping that I'll give you some inspiration for this fantastic bundle. So let's see who is joining me. I'm going to pull up my video here on my iPad and see if I can see who's here. Oh, I just noticed I forgot to put any makeup on this morning. Whoops. Sorry. That's what happens when I'm on summer holidays, you guys. All right. Hi, Laura. Hi, Violet. Hi, Diane. Welcome, welcome. All right, so we are all about the Ringed with Nature bundle. And as I mentioned, this is one of those bundles that is easy to miss in the catalog. Now, it gets highlighted a little bit in the Sale-a-bration brochure because there is coordinating paper in the brochure. And the best part is that when you buy the bundle, it qualifies you for the paper for free, which is, it's just fantastic. So let me flip my camera. We're going to get to it. I'm going to show you a couple of things about the bundle. This actually has a hybrid embossing folder in it, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to show you how that works and how it coordinates with the DSP, and then we're going to get to our projects. Okay, so let me stop yakking here and flipperoo, and we'll get to it. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, get the ink pad out of the way. We'll move this up and over so you can see a little better. There we go. All right, hi Jill, how are you? Okay, so we are, as I said, all about the Ringed with Nature bundle. So as I said, it doesn't get a ton of real estate in the mini catalog. It's way back on page 62, right here. Some cute projects, like really cute projects. Love this one. But it doesn't get a ton of attention in the mini catalog. However, it is highlighted in the Sale-a-bration brochure big time because we have the coordinating Rings of Love designer series paper. Now I have to say this paper is gorgeous. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. This has been my #1 redeemed item for Sale-a-bration from all of my customers. This is the one. So I am anticipating it's going to sell out. Just a reminder, folks, that all of our Sale-a-bration items, everything in this little brochure, even though the dates of the promotion are July 1st to August 31st, items are available while supplies last. Okay, you may or may not have heard, let me just quick show you that the Pool Party and Soft Sea Foam cards and envelopes have sold out already. So if this paper is something you love, I would suggest getting it sooner than later, okay, because you don't want to be disappointed. But look at these gorgeous projects made with the paper. So let me show you up close and personal what is included in the bundle, and then I'll show you the paper. So the bundle, of course, we have a beautiful stamp set. Lots of cute little images, some botanical images, a flower that could be a poinsettia. You'll see it on a card that it looks like a poinsettia, a house, multi-purpose, multi-occasion stamp set. And I love it when we have stamp sets that are good for a ton of different occasions. So that's the stamp set. And then we have the dies and hybrid embossing folder. So let me talk about these little guys first, and I'm going to show you how the dies work. So we have these cute little guys that cut different sprigs with leaves and this little sprig with berries. This one is rather ingenious. If you turn it this way, with the stem, it looks like a toadstool, but if you turn it this way with the acorn cap, it looks like an acorn. Isn't that smart? Love it. And then we have this large die that cuts out the tree rings or tree slices, and then these little guys actually cut the inside. So if you want to have a different colored inside layer, you can do that. These little sort of star-like dies are to create cracks, and if you recall, I'll go back to the catalog for one sec. On page 62, there is a sample that has those little dies. It kind of cuts cracks in the middle of the log, which you sometimes get when you cut a log. So that is the die set. Now, I mentioned this is a hybrid embossing folder. So this can be used just as an embossing folder. The first project we're going to make does that, okay? I just used it as a plain old embossing folder, embossed the tree rings, nothing fancy, nothing special, okay? However, you can also use this with the die. So I have used this a ton. I used it for an event I have coming up this Saturday. So it's gotten a lot of wear and tear. I shouldn't say a little, a lot. You can see it's actually stained with the paper that I cut. But this die actually sort of fits into the lid of the embossing folder. You put your cardstock in, close it up. You put this through your machine using the same sandwich that you would for a 3D embossing folder. Okay, so you need your specialty plate and you'll run it through and you'll get die cut tree rings, and I'll show them to you in a little bit. We're going to be using some on some of our projects. Okay, the other really cool thing about the paper is that it coordinates. Let me see if I can get this right. It coordinates this way. Nope. It does, honestly, I promise, coordinate with there it is, with the DSP. It took me a second. So this is the reverse side of this adorable paper. I love, this is my favorite pattern. I absolutely love that pattern. But on the reverse side, we have the tree rings, and you can die cut these using the die. So you're going to get 5 tree rings in one run through your machine. The other cool thing is that you can also emboss them. So here's one that I've already die cut, and I'm not sure how well it shows in the camera. Maybe I can show you on the back. They're already embossed, so we have that cool texture as well. So many different ways to use this embossing folder and coordinating die. And again, you're going to see several of these on my projects as I work through things here. Okay, but that's the Tree Rings Hybrid Embossing Folder and the coordinating stamp set. So when you get this, okay, this comes as a bundle. When you get this, you qualify for a Sale-a-bration item, and you can get the gorgeous paper. So this is the Ringed with Love Dsp. So these are cut down. These are left over from my paper share, so I cut them down to 6 by 6. But look at these awesome patterns, and so diverse and multi occasion. I love these little birds and the oak leaves and some wildflowers. And then when we flip them over, we get some slightly more generic patterns that can be used for anything. Love these leaves. Love this wash. I'll show you a card that I did with that in a little bit. Love the medallion. There's, of course, our woodcuts and the forest. So many possibilities with this gorgeous paper. Again, free with a $60 order, or if you get the bundle. Okay? All right, let's do some stamping. First card we're going to make is this one. Now, this one I posted yesterday. I've had a few friends who have moved into new homes in the last little while, so I needed some new home. Congratulations on your new home cards. So I thought I would use the house pattern from the DSP to create a new home card. Now, this one actually, the only stamping on this card, we're going to do a little bit of stamping on the ribbon, and then the sentiment. The sentiment I've already actually stamped and die cut ahead of time. So this is going to be a quickie. All right. So this ribbon is the natural, what is it? It's the stuff in the annual catalog that's currently not available. It's coming back in stock at the end of August. This has been super popular. Love this ribbon, and it is perfect to stamp on. It kind of has a linen-like texture. So I'm going to bring in my Evening Evergreen ink pad and this sort of little branch stamp here. Okay, so I'm going to stamp in the Evening Evergreen. Now, when you're stamping on this ribbon, you just kind of want to take a little more time than you normally would, just to give the ink time to transfer and soak into the ribbon. But look at how beautifully it stamps on the ribbon. Isn't that gorgeous? Love it. So I'll just do a couple more. You just want to take your time to make sure you get a good transfer of ink. Okay, that's probably enough because we're not going to see a whole lot of the ribbon. But that's how easy it is. Now, this does need time. This is still, you know, not set completely. If you want to set it, you can just hit it with your heat tool for a few seconds to set it up. It will dry, but if I were to rub this, it would smudge. So I'm going to be really careful. I'm going to set that aside for a minute and let it do its thing. All right. So I have here this cute little, well, partial medallion image. So this is from the DSP. I cut it out. This is actually from an edge. So I already have a straight edge here, right? So I'm going to use that along the edge of my card front, okay? And then we're going to add our little fussy cut house. It's going to get popped up. So we'll add a couple of dimensionals and pop that up. Hi, Linda. Hi, Krista. I am using regular ink. Louise, I'm using just the Evening Evergreen Classic ink. Yep. And that's why I say you have to give it a little bit of time to set up. The Stays On obviously will set a lot quicker, but this will set, like you can see, this is dry. It's not coming off. It's not smudging. I made this card a couple weeks ago. So you just need to give it time to set. And again, if you hit it with your heat tool, it'll set up a little quicker. Okay. All right, so my background piece is Crumb Cake cardstock. It's 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and I've embossed it using the Tree Rings embossing folder. So I've just used it as a regular embossing folder, okay? I'm not using the die with it, just to get that tree ring texture. And look at how great it looks on the deboss side as well. Like, you could pick and choose whichever one you like. I actually think I might do this one reverse, just to be different. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to use the reverse side. On my sample here, I've used the embossed side. On this one, I'm going to use the deboss side. So deboss means the pattern is pressed into the paper, okay? Emboss means the pattern is popping up from the paper. That's the difference, okay? So I'm going to take my ribbon very carefully and lay it across my panel. I'm going to put a little bit of seal across here just to make sure it stays flat and secure, because it is fairly wide ribbon. So we're just going to put that on right about there and hopefully straight. Let's aim for straight anyway. Just trying to be careful so I don't smudge my ink there. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to flip this over and just wrap the ends of the ribbon around and secure them to the back side with a little bit more seal, just to make sure that that stays put. This is literally the last of this ribbon that I have in my studio. I cannot wait for it to come back in stock. It is beautiful. All right, so now we're going to glue this onto our card base. We have a Night of Navy card base. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2. Okay, so we're going to fold in half along our score line. Yeah, isn't the stamping on the ribbon gorgeous? I love this look, and it works with just basic regular ink. You don't have to do anything special. Like I said, you need to give it time to dry or hit it with your heat tool, but it will set and you're good. It's beautiful. All right, so we're going to go ahead and glue our panel onto the front of our card, okay? And then our little medallion here is going to get glued to the front this way. Now I'm going to put it up just a titch higher just because I want my house to kind of be in the middle of the ribbon here. And we're going to glue this flat. I might have to put it a little lower just to make sure I get glue on both sides. I want to make sure I have glue on the bottom and the top so that it sticks nice and flat and doesn't sort of pop with the ribbon here. So I'm just going to add my seal. And we're going to pop this on right about here. Make sure it's flush with the edge of my crumb cake. Okay, and then my little congratulations banner is going, or not banner, my little congratulations is going to run, yeah, it's going to, see, I put this too low. It's going to run across my ribbon here. I don't really want it to go across the front door of my house, but it is what it is. I put my house too low. That's okay. So we're going to take a couple of mini dimensionals. Now this is such a narrow little die cut. It actually works better to use half minis. So when I want to use a half a mini, I just take and I cut like a couple of minis in half with my snips, and then I just take your pick and stick those little bits down. If you're trying to do this with your fingers, you're going to get really frustrated. Ask me how I know, because they are so teeny tiny. Right, and they'll stick to your fingers and not to your cardstock, and it'll get frustrating. Trust me, because I've been there, and it wasn't working for me. And then I tried my take your pick, and voila, much easier. So I'm just going to get rid of my backings. Again, I'm using my Take Your Pick to pick off my backings as well. There we go. And then I'm going to put just actually I might put a glue dot on the ends because that's where it's going to overlap my little popped up house here. So we'll just add a glue dot there. And that's going to go right about there. There we go. Okay, and then our last little touch is to add just this very, very fine little bow. Now, to do that, I actually have a piece that I've already started. This is more of that same ribbon. I've cut off one of the finished edges, so I have a raw edge. And then I just take and pull out a couple of the threads. So I'm just going to pull the whole length of the ribbon. This is one of my favorite things to do with this ribbon, which is why I have very little left. Actually, I have none left now that I've used it on my card. And then I take my threads and I'm going to tie my bow. So if you keep your loops nice and big, it's easy to tie. If you try to make your loops really tight to start your bow, you're going to get frustrated because it's going to catch. If you have rough skin on your fingers like I do, all of my calluses from guitar playing are starting to peel off because I don't play very much in the summer. And it catches on the little threads. So this is going to just kind of tuck underneath. Now, I don't like that see what I mean? It catches. I don't like that where my sentiment is and how it's going to cover up part of my house. So I'm going to put my bow in a different spot. See what I mean about catching? Let's see if we can pull this whole thread out. Ah, okay, starting again. I should have put some moisturizer on before I started. If you have rough skin, this can be a big pain in the neck. So let's try it again. You don't want to have dry skin on your fingers when you're doing this, or catches on your nails, because this thread is so fine it catches on everything. All right, let's try that again. So here we go. 1 and 2. The loops are not a problem. Tying the bow is not the problem. It's afterwards, once it's tied, you get catches all over the place. There we go. So we're going to be very careful, and I'm only going to grab this like with the middle of my finger instead of the end so that it doesn't catch. All right. So instead, I think we're going to put this actually. Where am I going to put this? Do I want it there? Yep, I think I do. We're going to put it on the opposite end just because I don't want to cover up my house with my bow. So I'm going to take a little glue booger and I'm going to press it in underneath the C, and congratulations. And then I'm going to take my little thread bow here and I'm just going to tuck it in under here. Just like that. And then it'll stay put. I can trim my tails because they are far, far too long. And then we have a cute little bow. I like that much better. All right, there we go. The last little touch is just a couple of these in color opals. These are, I'm going to use the Evening Evergreen and the smaller ones, just because I like the small ones on this one. I feel like the big ones are a little bit too large a scale for this particular project. So we'll add one up there, and there we go. Done and done. Oh, and I said I was going to use the deboss side on this card, and then I went ahead and did it embossed anyway. Look at that. Made a liar of myself, but there you go. Cute and easy. All about the DSP, really. Okay. All right. That's okay, Deb. Glad you made it. Okay. Next card is this cute fun fold that I posted earlier today. It opens up like this. Okay, and it's all, again, all about the designer series paper. This pattern is my very favorite pattern in this pack, and I couldn't resist making a card that really showcases it. Okay, so I'll show you how to do this one. It's super easy. So I'm starting out with a piece of Crumb Cake cardstock. Okay, it's 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. All right, 4 1/4 by 8 1/4 or 8 1/2. Now I'm second guessing myself. Let me double check. I have my ruler hiding under here. No, it is 8 1/4. I'm good. 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. Okay, and then I've scored it at 5 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and fold along that score line. All right, so that's how the base of my card is going to open. So to decorate, we are going to, on this back panel here, we're going to adhere a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of this fabulous sort of forest botanical fall print. Love, 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 love this pattern. Love fall colors, and this just makes me happy, this pattern. So we're going to go ahead and glue this one on. We'll have a nice 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Okay, then I have another piece of the same DSP. We're going to decorate this inside panel here. So this is 2 1/2 by 4. So we're going to go ahead and stick that one down as well. Now when I'm gluing this one, again, I want to make sure that I'm lining up my edges here so that it looks like it's nice and straight and even. Okay, so there is the inside. On the front, we're going to add yet another 2 1/2 by 4 inch panel. Okay, it's easy to use lots of DSP on a project when it's beautiful and it's free, right? You shouldn't feel guilty about cutting this DSP. It's free, because free is good. And there we go. Okay, so that is the base of our card. Now you could leave it just like that and put a little sentiment on. It'd be a really cute little fun fold, but we're going to add an extra little flap. So this is 4 by 3 inches. Sorry, not 4, 8 by 3. It's scored at 4. So I'm going to fold this in half. Okay, and then I end up with a 3 by 4 inch piece. All right, so that's going to open this way. So on this one, I wanted a little contrast. So I'm going to use this sort of forest pattern. This is cut to 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So we're going to go ahead and glue that one on. We'll pop that on there, just like that. Okay, and then on the inside of this, we do need space to write, so I'm going to add a basic white panel that is also 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So we're going to go ahead and glue that on. And we'll pop it in there. Okay, and then this is going to get glued centered on this back panel. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add some adhesive. I like to use Seal all the time, but especially on fun folds because they often get a little bit more wear and tear than a regular card. So I just want to make sure this is straight and centered. Okay, and then that is going to nest like that. Okay, now comes the fun part, the decorating. So here I have 2 little wood cuts. These are cut from Crumb Cake cardstock using the hybrid embossing folder. So I just one pass through with my Crumb Cake and I get my die cut embossed wood cuts. So I want to add just a little bit of shading. Can you see around the edges? So I'm going to bring in my soft suede ink pad and my blending brush. Oh, hi Penny. Hi Deb, glad you're here. All right, and I'm just gonna go ahead and apply. Now this may have a little bit of early espresso on it because I was using it before, but that's okay. It'll just be a little darker. I tend to use one blending brush for all of my browns. I don't feel like I need a separate one for each shade of brown. If I'm going from a darker to a lighter, I tend to just kind of brush off the ink on a piece of scrap or on my grid paper, and then I'm good to go. People ask me how often I clean my blending brushes. I can honestly say I have never washed my blending brushes, and I've had them, well, since they came out. So if you are only using them with one color or shade, you don't need to wash them. They hold up really well. It's not necessary. If you are changing ink colors, I would recommend washing, especially if you're going from like a very dark to a very light shade. You don't want to ruin your ink pads. So we're just going to brush on a little bit of this soft suede just around the edges. You'll notice I'm leaving the middle lighter. And again, this is just to give us a little bit of shading, and it also brings out the emboss pattern on our wood cuts. Actually, while I have this ink out, let's stamp our sentiment because we can. So I have a little die cut banner here. This is cut from using the Stylish Shape Dies. And I'm going to stamp Thinking of You from the stamp set in soft suede ink. Try and get this centered. Not bad. My K is a little off, but that's okay. Still looks like a K. And then we're going to do a little bit of arranging. So this is kind of like floral arranging, but this time we're using woodcuts. Okay, so these are going to kind of go right here. And I have this little grouping of 4 mushrooms. So all of these little bits and bobs here, I've fussy cut from the DSP. So as I mentioned, I love this DSP, and many of you know that I love fussy cutting. So it was not a hardship to cut all of these. It was actually really, really fun. So let's start with adding our little bits to this particular woodcut, and then we're going to do the rest of our arranging. So we're going to put a little glue on this guy, and you need like basically nothing in terms of glue here. They are very, very tiny and lightweight. So we're going to put that little one there. So we'll just put a bit of glue across along the bottom. And that's going to go right about there. And then this little green one's going to kind of peek out here. Let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. I didn't fussy cut the bottoms very carefully because I figured most of it is going to be hidden. So we're going to put that one on there. So we'll add a little bit of glue here. And then my mushrooms are going to get popped up. So we're going to add a couple of minis. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get rid of those backings. And then we're going to pop this on right about there. Okay, so we have our little, this is sort of our focal image. It's going to go right on the front here. And then we're going to add this little woodcut in behind. Okay, but what we're going to do is actually glue these little elements to the back of this woodcut. So it's kind of all getting glued to this one. So I'm just going to take and put a little bit of seal here. We're going to add this one and this little maple leaf. Can't have a card made by a Canadian without a maple leaf. Right? This almost looks like the Toronto Maple Leafs blue. Little bit light, but close. And then we'll add this little sprig up here as well. A little bit more there. And we'll pop that on there. Okay, so that's our little arrangement. This one's just going to kind of hang out in behind. But this is going to get glued flat and this is going to get popped. Okay, so let's put a little bit of adhesive on this guy. And he's going to kind of go right about there. And then this one is going to pop up on the front panel there. So we'll just add a couple of these just to see where this is going to sit, and then we'll add a couple more. Yeah, so we're going to add a couple of dimensionals up here to these little guys. And is that going to be good? I think it will. Yeah, we're good. All right, so let's get rid of our backings. And we'll pop this on. Hi, Martine. How are you? Okay, so that one's going to go on right about there. Let's take all of our little bits down. And then my little thinking of you is just going to kind of hang out right about there, maybe a little bit higher. It's going to get glued flat here where it overlaps the popped part, and then a couple of dimensionals on the other end. Now, before we do that, we're going to add an extra little sprig here. Because we can, and because I like fussy cutting, so why not? So let's add, actually, you know what I did? I added my bow and then the little sprig. So we're going to take our linen thread. We're going to tie our bow. And my fingers are sticky. Not a good combination when you're trying to tie a bow. So we are going to adhere our bow. Where's my glue dots? There they are. So let's put our bow on first, and then we'll add our little sprig. So I'm putting my glue dot on the back of my banner. Where'd my bow go? And then that's going to go right there, just like that. And then my little sprig is going to kind of come on. So it almost looks like the bow is on the sprig, like that. Okay. All right, so now we're going to add a couple dimensionals. Maybe just one, and a little bit of seal on the other end where it's going to overlap. And then that is going to go on right about there. I have to put a mini dimensional under that little guy where it's going to catch. So we're going to put that there. Get rid of our backing. There we go. Look how cute that is. All right, I have one more little set of mushrooms here. We're going to add them on the inside just to decorate that little inside bit. So we'll just add them right here, growing in the bottom corner. And there we go. Isn't that cute? This DSP is so fantastic. I can't even tell you. You need it, all right? But get it soon, because I would not be surprised if this sold out. Okay? All right, so that is number 2. Number 3, I am biting the bullet, and I'm going to do some Christmas, even though I'm not even close to ready to start thinking about Christmas. But, well, I've been doing Christmas, honestly, for the last couple of months because we have pre-order. And I have to say that this DSP does fantastic Christmas cards. Look at this. This is just a cute little easel card. Super simple design. You've probably made easel cards before, but the DSP does all the work. Now I decided I should show you some stamps from the stamp set. So we're going to do some stamping on this one. So let's pull out our bits here, and I'm going to show you what we're doing. All right, so I've done some stamping. The rest is going to get done right now. So as you can see, I've already stamped and fussy cut one of the poinsettias and the leaves, but I'm going to show you how I stamped the poinsettias because I did a little bit of ink blending on my stamp. So let me grab my daubers. Try not to get my fingers inky. Sorry, I have such a squeaky chair. It's very creaky. All right, so this is the poinsettia or flower. It could be anything, really. I think if you stamp it in red, it looks like a poinsettia. So to ink this, I'm going to take my Blushing Bride, and this is the pink that's in the paper, and my dauber, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of Blushing Bride to the center of my poinsettia. And then I'm going to bring in my brand new Poppy Parade dauber because my other one was so destroyed. It was ripped and it had it. And I'm just going to add a little bit of Poppy Parade. Now you can add as much or as little as you want. Depends how much pink you want showing. But you want to make sure that you don't overlap the pink with the Poppy Parade because obviously the Poppy Parade will cover the Blushing Bride. So then I'm going to go ahead and stamp and you'll see, oh, that's not so pretty. But that's okay. Doesn't matter because I'm going to bring in my little polka dots or my little spatter and we're going to stamp our little berries in the center, and there we go. Okay, now I think I might actually redo that one because I really want a little bit more red. I didn't do enough red on this one, so we're gonna do that again. You get to watch it again. You good with that? Yes, I do need WD-40. It is very, very squeaky. I gotta put John on that. He's pretty good about that kind of stuff. He's my Mr. Fix-It. Goodness, he built me a whole craft room. So all right, so here we go. Let's try that again. I'm going to do a little bit more this time. I was kind of rushing that last time. Make sure I get my ink nice and even. Oh, that's going to be much better. So much better. Can you see the difference? Yes. So you want to take your time when you're doing your daubering. I was kind of rushing there, and haste makes waste, as they say. So now I'm going to come back in with my little dots here and stamp those in the center. And then I have my little poinsettia. Easy peasy. All right, so we're gonna take and fussy cut this out. I'm gonna get rid of that ugly one. And I don't have to be super, super careful. This is a really easy image to fussy cut. Again, fussy cutting tips. You wanna make sure you're moving your paper rather than your scissors. You will get cleaner cuts. And think about your scissors as being like a jigsaw and your paper as being the wood, right? And if you ever watch somebody cutting on a jigsaw, the saw is stationary. It doesn't move. It's the wood that moves. Same principle applies when you're fussy cutting. So move your paper, not your scissors. You also want to have a good sharp pair of scissors. If you don't have great scissors, I would really encourage you to try our paper snips. They are the bomb. I love them. And I think they're like $15. They are not expensive as scissors go, and they are fantastic. All right, so there we go. There's my second poinsettia. So I have my 2 poinsettias. I've got my leaves. Here is that little sprig die. So let me pull in my dies again. Okay, so it's this one here. I die cut it out of white, just plain white cardstock, and then I colored it using my dark Evening Evergreen and dark Poppy Parade blends. And doesn't that look fantastic? Love, love those little sprigs. All right, now before we do anything, we're going to do a little blending on our woodcut. So this one is actually cut from craft cardstock, and we are going to darken it and blend it a little bit with early espresso. So I'm going to bring in my blending brush. I'm going to get rid of some of the soft suede that's on there, not that it really matters. And then we're going to come in with the espresso. And I really love the way this darker brown just really makes the woodcut almost look bronze. It's very cool. And when you are using the blending brushes, you want to try to go in both directions. So we're always working in a sort of circular motion, but you want to go both clockwise and counterclockwise. If you always go one direction, your brushes eventually will kind of lean that way, and it'll be harder to get an even blend. But there we go. Doesn't that look great? Oh, love it. All right, so that is that. So we are going to arrange, again, all of our bits and bobs. Oh, we got to stamp our sentiment. Almost forgot. We are going to stamp Merry Christmas, which is in this stamp set. Okay, so you do get a Merry Christmas stamp in the Ringed with Nature stamp set. And we're going to stamp Merry Christmas in Evening Evergreen. This is just on a stitched rectangle. Make sure I'm right side up here. Just die cut from basic white cardstock. So there is our sentiment. And now we can start working on our arrangement here. So when you look at the poinsettia, there's 2 spots where the petals are a little bit wider. So I'm going to glue my poinsettia at one of the points where the petals are wider to that top corner of my DSP, or of my sentiment rather. So I'm just going to put a little smidge of glue on 2 of the petals. And then I'm just going to stick that on there like that. Okay. Then we're going to add a couple of these leaves. So again, these little individual leaves are stamped in Evening Evergreen. They're stamped with this leaf stamp is in the stamp set. So everything you need is right there. So we're going to add 1 and 2 little leaves there. Okay, and then we are going to add our sprigs. So I'm going to put 1 sprig sort of coming down here. If I can get it to work. Come on, work with me. There we go. So we're going to add 1 here. I'll make sure I see my leaf there. And then my other one is going to be coming up this way. And I think I still have enough sticky there. Nope, I don't. I thought I might, but I don't. All right, let's try that again. So that's going to be coming up that way. Okay, now this whole thing is going to get popped up on my woodcut, just like this. Now it's pretty with just 1. We could omit the second poinsettia, but I like the poinsettias, so we're going to add another. But for now, let's put a couple of dimensionals across our sentiment here. Stuck to my finger. And which side do I like better? I think I like this side. So we're going to stick this right on here like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, love it. All right, the knot is going to tuck in behind. Okay, so I wanted to give just a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to add my second poinsettia in behind my woodcut, just like that. And then again, we're going to add a couple of leaves. Maybe we'll go 1. I might put the second one over here, just to be a little different. There we go, just like that. Isn't that pretty? That would make a really cute gift tag, wouldn't it? I think so. All right, so that's done. We're going to put together our card. So this is a piece of that fabulous DSP, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I'm going to take some of this awesome ribbon, this Evening Evergreen window pane ribbon, And I'm going to lay it across the front of my panel here. So I'm just going to trim off what I'm not going to need. And we're going to add a couple glue dots. Thanks, Laura. Yeah, I love, well, first of all, I love the woodcuts. I love the look of it. And when you add the a little bit of the blending and the ink, it just really brings out the texture and, oh, just it looks awesome. Love it. All right, so here we go. Add our ribbon. Make sure it's straight. Okay, now this does not really read as Christmas ribbon, does it? It was actually part of the tulip suite in the spring mini, but I think it works really, really well on this card because it's just a little bit different. All right, so we're going to layer this on some soft succulent. Now, the soft succulent is sort of that lighter green in the leaves there. So we're going to go ahead and glue that. Now, I should mention this is cut to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, so 1/8 of an inch larger than my DSP panel. So let's add a bit of adhesive here, and we'll pop that on there. Just like that. Okay, and then this little arrangement is just going to get popped up on the front of our card just like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. Okay, so here we go. Dimensional City. And what the heck, one more. Now here I'm actually going to stack 2 because this one was popped to begin with, do you remember? So we're actually going to pop 2 so that that lies flat when we get it onto the front of our card. So we'll get rid of all of these. And then this is going to go on right about here. You just kind of want to make sure your sentiment is straight. All right. Now, before we add our bow, we're going to glue this onto our card base. So I mentioned this is an easel card, right? So to make our easel card base, this is 5.5 by 8.5, so just a half sheet of cardstock. The first score line goes at 4 1/4. Let's do it this way, 4 1/4. But then you're going to add a second score line here at 2 1/8, so halfway between the edge and 4 1/4. And that's going to give us our pop-up easel. So I'm going to start by folding in half along that 4 1/4 inch score line. Okay, and then this one I'm going to tuck under to make a mountain fold. Okay, so it's going to sit like that. See my mountain? Okay. Now, when I glue this on, I want to make sure that I'm only putting my glue on this bottom section here so that my card can pop. Okay, if I glue it flat, it's not going to pop. All right, so let's put our adhesive, just to be safe. I like to put my adhesive on this bottom section, and that way I'm sure that I'm not going to get it where I don't want it. So we're just going to center this on the front of our card and stick her down, and there we go. We have a pop-up. All right. Okay, so to make the inside, we're going to take another piece of that gorgeous DSP. Again, it's free, so why not use it? 5 1/4 by 4 inches. Again, we're going to glue that inside. So we'll go ahead and do that. Pop it in there. I need to do it this way. Make sure it's straight. There we go. And then I have a die cut stitched rectangle here, and this is going to get popped up. Now, when we do an easel card, we have to have a popped element or something to catch our easel, right? If we don't have something that's popped up, this won't stay standing. So in this case, we're just going to use this stitched rectangle. We're going to stamp our sentiment, as soon as I find it, Love and Warmth, in the Evening Evergreen ink once again. So we'll go ahead and stamp that just like that. And then this is going to get popped up with a couple of dimensionals again. I might actually use the edges. I love it when I have the edges and can use them to pop up large pieces like this, because you only have to peel off one thing. Look at that. Quick and easy. All right, the rest of these will take a little longer. Do one there, and one in the middle, and one along the edge, and we're golden. All right, so this is going to get centered inside our card right about there. Looks good. And that will allow our easel to stand up. Okay, now we're not quite done. We need to add our bling and our bow. So let's do our bow first. So we're going to tie a quick little bunny ear bow here with our beautiful ribbon. Thanks, Martine. I love this paper so much, and I love wood cuts. I use them for Christmas decor all the time. So the fact that I can make my own paper ones makes me very happy. Yeah, I just love this bundle. It's so fun. All right, so there's our bow. We're gonna notch our ends. Nice and neat. Do the other one. There we go. That one's a little long. Give that one a little bit of a trim. There we go. All right, so that is going to get glued right in that bottom corner of our label, right where the ribbon and label meet. So we're gonna just take a glue dot, press the knot of our bow into the glue dot, and then tuck that in right there. Cute, cute, cute. All right, last little touch is to add some bling to the centers of our poinsettias. So I'm using some champagne rhinestones. These are kind of like chameleon rhinestones. They sort of take on the colors of what's around them. They are, when you look at them like this, they're sort of a golden color. However, when I put them on my poinsettias, they almost take on a little bit of a pinky tone, which I think is kind of cool. Whoopsie. So we're just going to pop these on in the centers of our poinsettia. That looks good. 4 and 3 works. And there we go. There's our finished Christmas card. You like that one? Yes, the wood piece is embossed, Martine. You missed my little demonstration. This embossing folder, it's a hybrid embossing folder. So it actually, when you put the die in, let me just recap. When you put the die in, it actually locks in or kind of clicks into your folder, and then you can cut and emboss in one pass. It does not damage your embossing folder. People ask me that all the time. You will get, like I was cutting craft cardstock, so I've got like fibers of the craft cardstock in there. But it works like a charm, and it's pretty fantastic. So embossing and die cutting all in one pass through the machine. All right, so there we go. Let me bring in all of these projects, and let me quick show you a few more ideas with this awesome paper. I love it because I just went a little crazy with it. So if you watched my live, you saw me make this one. Uses the oak leaves. Love, love, love the oak leaf pattern. And then here is a Christmas one. So I used the same medallion that I used on the house card, but I cut them to different sizes. So the cool thing about the medallion is there's different layers, right? So you can play around with the size, and I thought that kind of mirrored or mimicked snowflakes. And then there is that gorgeous sort of wash pattern that's also part of the DSP. Here's a quick and easy one using the little birdies and some more of the little sprig die cuts. And here you can see, this is where I've used, let me bring in the dies again. I've used this centerpiece to cut out the center of the wood cut so I could get a different color, a lighter color, and stamp on it. Okay, so that's what those little guys, those little pieces inside are for. So there's another one. Here is one, a fun fold that I did during my team meeting last week. So this is, I demonstrated this fun fold in last week's video, but this is one that I did using the little birds. Love, love, love them. So cute. And then I couldn't resist bringing in the gnomes, because the gnomes in like woodland sort of whimsical patterns, just, they work, right? So here is a little gnome card using some of this DSP. And then here's a swap card that I received. So they've used the die cut wood cut pattern from the DSP and then used it as their sentiment label. So I love that idea. So there you go. Lots of ideas with this awesome bundle and the free DSP. So like I said, if this is on your wish list, get it sooner than later, because I have a feeling it's going to sell out. It's been super popular. All right. Okay, everybody, that's it for me this week, and I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I will see you again next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.